Welcome to Vida, model of Explode.
What's up, everyone? Simon here at Vida. Today we're actually going to go cover something we just picked up from Richmo sound kit. So the sound kit that I got is one of two versions. This one only has the V8 noise, call it noise, the V8 room. The other one has three other unique sound that we are not installing, but it's very similar. And we're going to cover what's involved with the installation. Absolutely going to go over the installation process and then provide you some insight and also maybe some review feedback on if it's something that I think is easy to be done. Certainly, it's up to the users whether or not this is something they want to pursue. So without further ado. All right, so right off the bat, just to show you the pieces for this entire kit, you have these two speakers. And they're connected by this one cable here. See the connectors? What I did is I put together all the connections so you can see exactly how it all routes. You also have these two plates. What happened is that these plates will be secured by removing the screws on the top, and this goes underneath. And then underneath the plate, you have this other bolt that is tightened to the bottom frame of your vehicle. So you have one on each side. So you have these two connectors that are split, as you can see. So it splits into these two speakers. From there, there is a single that routes all the way back to this kit. Now, there are three exit points on this kit. This is the box for the main module. Go ahead and turn it around so you can see what it looks like. And then in this module, you have one part, again, that goes to the speaker. This is the part that also is connected to the button that turns it on and off that we'll be routing to the inside. Separately, there is a ground wire, the green ground wire, and this is a throttle pass-through. So you're going to have to disconnect your throttle. It connects to this, and this is how you get the V8 sound by pushing onto your accelerator, and it generates the sound. And then lastly, there is a third cable, which are these two cables that goes directly to your power and your ground. So how are we going to route this? Great question. So first and foremost, we're going to get these speakers mounted to the bottom frame, which we'll show later. Subsequently, we're going to route the wires. Let's see if I can open our trunk. So we're going to route our wires up and underneath once we clear out this entire area through this little grommet that's down here. And then we're going to take it through the seam all the way down using the seam, and then continue with the seam and route the wires by coming through and underneath this panel by taking this all off. I'm going to keep going all the way under. There's a lot of wires, so we're going to take it all out. And then ultimately we're going to end up here because we're going to hide the box to the left while we put the throttle switch in that area, and then it will be tapped into the ground. All right, so we're at the bottom of the car right now, trying to show where the speakers for the V8 engine noise will be installed. So we're at the center. This is where the tow hitch that I installed. And then to the left, it's where I ended up installing one of two speakers. Because I have a hitch, I had to make certain modifications. But as you can see here, there is a bracket that I am utilizing through an existing slot. And what it's doing here, and let me go grab the flashlight so you can see clearly, is that there is a bracket that's on top of the device right here. There's 4 screws on top here that's holding up this device, and then it's being clamped and secure with this bolt here that is part of my hitch. So if my hitch wasn't here, then this would be a wide open hole for you to secure this. But in this instance, I had a hitch, so I had to make it work. But as you can see, I have just barely enough room. This is the backside of the carpet wheel well, so it doesn't have any impact. There is no wiring that I am interfering with. And then similarly on this side, same exact approach. Again, I'm utilizing that, as you can see, light, I'm utilizing that bracket here. And then that bracket is secured to the top of this device, and then I'm using the hitch. So and there are 2 wires, so one from each speaker is connected and secured to a master split. Remember how we punched through the grommet? Well, the grommet comes down here and then it connects and splits into both speakers. So that's how we installed our unit. And then now we're gonna go ahead and concentrate on the box, the throttle, and the battery and ground. So to show you progress of my wire routing, so I've taken it from that grommet underneath the sleeve, which I'll tuck back in, and then I've wired it underneath the seat. Now to get underneath the seat, what I did was I have the wire, as you can see. I lifted the seat up. Let's go ahead and take this wire. So lifted the seat up. Kind of see where the wire is right here. And then I had it going underneath. And from there on, it's tucked underneath inside this plastic, so not to interfere with any of the side airbags. And it's continuously going, and it gives me just enough slack, actually more than enough slack, right, to get to my footwell. So that's how I did my wire routing. So for those who are removing the door sill, just note that to remove this trunk handle, lift it up as high as you can, and then you have to lift this clip here. Don't lift it all the way, loosen it by lifting it. And what it does is that it disengages this lock inside, allowing you to just pull it out. So let me see. So when you open it up, so I can just, you don't have to pull it all the way out. Leave it inside. So this is what it looks like when it's removed, so it doesn't lock it back in place. And this allows you to just take it out. So I don't know if you can see, the wires are going through the firewall, and this is for the power. I took it directly from the power source. You can kind of see where I routed. And behind, I actually used one of those clip seams that goes perfectly in there, wraps around, and it goes into my negative and power. And that concludes the install. Of course, we're gonna clean up the inside, and we'll give a final video of what the interior looks like when it's all completed. All right, so in this video, we're gonna show you where we intend to mount the button to turn on and activate the V8. So we're gonna route the cable underneath. We're gonna zip tie this really nice and clean, so it's not gonna be anywhat visible, and nicely attached to the other existing cabling. Then we're gonna route this wire by pulling this trim off, as well as these trims here. So removal of these trims are fairly simple. They are just clips that pulls out and here's what the back side of the panel looks like. So you're basically just pulling, and these clips will remove. Once you remove the bottom, you can remove the top, again, the clips, just by pulling it out. And then what we did was we, as you can see, routed the cable underneath, and then just had it going underneath all this so that the button's gonna be behind the screen. This is where the button is. We're gonna subsequently drill a 3/4 or a 19mm hole, so the button will be right behind it, just like this. Be nice and tucked, and that's the goal. I'm gonna go ahead and do this right now, and then we'll show you the end result once it's all done. So we got the switch now drilled through. Here's the back side. We're gonna use the locking mechanism to latch this in. And then this is what's gonna look like when it's all said and done. And now we're gonna put it all back together. All right, so everything is reinstalled. All the trims are placed back. Button is now safely secure. As you can see, all the wirings are neatly concealed. You don't see anything popping out. Everything is zip tied cleanly. Button is behind the LCD screen. We're gonna get in our car and go ahead and activate the button and let it rev. Trying to back off. Back to EV noise. All right, and that concludes the installation. We're gonna follow up at the end with just some final thoughts. Hey, so this is kind of the wrap up. As far as the installation goes, there were some minor updates. For example, the power component, when we were installing it, during the video, it was connected to the 12 volt. In your kit, we're gonna switch it up so that it taps into the fuse box. Additionally, as a result, you no longer have to go through the firewall. And the fuse box tap allows you to have that connectivity where you're unlocking your car and it will actually activate the V8. And it almost acts like a remote start, but you can still turn it off with the button. As far as the overall installation, it really shouldn't take you more than 2 hours, and it's different. You want to add that unique V8 noise. It does sound really good, and the complexity of this installation is really no more challenging than whether it's putting the front pony or doing the halo lights. Overall, if this is something that you like in a classic car, something that you think is worth your time and effort, go for it. Like with all mods, it's going to be different for everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in a comment. Otherwise, continue to subscribe to our video. Thank you for your support.